With the release of Malignant, I will be ranking all 7 of James Wan's horror films. So James Wan is one of the best working directors today in terms of horror. And instead of ranking all of his filmography, which includes Aquaman, Death Sentence, and Fast and Furious 7, I decided that I'm just going to stick to his horror films because he really is at his core a horror director. So I'm going to give you all 7 of his films ranked. This is my list. So as always, down below, make sure you let me know what your list is and what did you not like about my list? What did you like about my list? Let me know down below. But we're going to start off with number 7, which will be Dead Silence. Dead Silence, I finally watched for the first time over this past weekend, and I gotta be honest, I really didn't like the movie. The movie to me felt a little too serious about itself. I know I've seen a lot of reviews say that the movie's supposed to be campy, it's supposed to be cheesy, but I felt like it wasn't as on the nose as something like Malignant, where when this movie really tries to go and be campy, I just found this movie to be kind of boring. It has a very slow pace to it. And the movie to me just feels like it's cluttered with a bunch of just mess. There are some really bad CGI shots in this movie that really took me out of the film. There are some nice, genuine, creepy moments in this movie, especially with the character of Mary Shaw and her appearing in different ways throughout the film. And I also really did like the twist quite a bit in the movie, but also at the same time, it felt a little forced to me to have that ending and that twist, because although like it makes a lot of sense, it also is kind of hammy and just kind of stupid, and it just kind of ends so abruptly as well. So there's really not much that I can say that I really liked about Dead Silence, other than the fact that I did appreciate the twist. I did feel the James Wan atmosphere, but the movie to me just leans itself a little too heavy on the serious side, and because of that, it didn't feel as on the nose for me to really kind of enjoy this film. Number 6 is going to be Insidious Chapter 2. I really like this movie. Actually, every movie after the lowest movie for me, I really like. Insidious Chapter 2, I really like. The one problem with this movie that holds it back is that the story felt very confusing. I love the whole astral plane. I love the fact that they're trying to answer certain questions that the first movie set up, but I felt like the first Insidious movie just left at such a perfect moment. It ended right when you get that reveal of what Patrick Wilson's character really is. And to me, I wasn't as sold on Insidious Chapter 2. The fact that they have to go and get his son from the devil, and there's more exploration of who, the woman in black is, or the Black Bride, or whatever you want to call her. But to me, I feel like the first movie was so well done that the second movie, it just felt a little too forced, that they were trying to kind of come up with something extra. It did have that James Wan feel. It does have some really genuine scares in this film and some of the same callbacks from the first movie, but to me, it doesn't necessarily resonate as much with the story as the first movie did. Number 5 is going to be Saw. I know you guys probably hate me. I know a lot of people, this would be your number 1 James Wan film, but I gotta be honest, I've never been a huge Saw fan. When I was younger, I used to love this franchise because I love the kills and the goriness to it, and the fact that I would just kind of look forward to what new traps they were going to place into all of these movies. But the original Saw, to me, the problem that I have with it actually is Cary Elwes. I love Cary Elwes. Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies of all time, but to me, in this role, he just didn't fit at all. I know that they were trying to go for a little bit more of a campy nature with his character, but it didn't feel like that. And it felt like every single scene that he was in, he just made me like the movie less and less. I didn't like his character at all. Lee Winnell in this movie is okay. You could tell that he's really not an experienced actor at this point, but the movie has an incredible twist. Again, James Wan's able to use really good twists at the end of his films, and this one has one of the best twists of all time. But to me, this movie it's just a little dated, and I can feel that every time I go back and revisit this movie, how dated it is, how Cary Elwes kind of drags the movie for me as an actor in this film, which is very sad because I really do like him a lot. But to me, I really wish that I liked this movie more than I did, or I wish that I liked this like everyone else does, but I've never been a big Saw fan, and I just gotta be honest. My number 4 is going to go to The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 2 is a really great horror sequel. This is how you do it. James Wan was able to take what we loved about the first movie and really implement it even more in the second movie, in the sequel. I really do like the story. I like going to England. I liked seeing this family's trauma, the fact that it's really based around one girl who is, really a pawn and also a puppet, just like the old man is, to Valak, who is a great central villain in this franchise, even though The Nun, her solo movie, sucks. But I really did enjoy The Conjuring 2. My only issues with the movie at times is there is a little too much CGI, and CGI scares to me aren't nearly ever going to be as effective as practical effects scares. And that's why I don't love this movie as much as even the original film, because to me, the original film really understood the practicality of what a good scare is. But there are some really great tense moments. There are some really creepy things. And I love the fact that this movie also explores even more of that relationship between Vera Farmiga's character and Patrick Wilson's character, the Warrens, and also the fact that they humanize them in such tumultuous times and such disturbing times. They actually have some really heartfelt moments, especially when Patrick Wilson's character, Ed Warren, starts playing an Elvis song. Like, that is really, really good. And I really like the fact that it feels like these characters are human and genuine and not actual movie characters. My number 3 is going to go to Insidious. Insidious is the first movie that I really felt the James Wan atmosphere in full effect. I didn't really know much about James Wan. I know that he did Saw, and that was like the only movie at that time that I'd seen, but this movie, when it came out, creeped me out. I remember seeing the trailer for this film over and over again that would play like when I was watching TV randomly, and it just always got under my skin, and I was like, I really want to watch that movie. And this movie does a really, really great thing because it has some incredible scare sequences. I love the astral plane. I love the further. I love that this is a world that is explored. And you can really tell that James Wan at this point in time was really understanding his craft. He was really able to use shots effectively to get really good tension. And that's what I love about this film. It feels like a James Wan movie that he would make now. And this is a movie to me that really kind of started a franchise, Insidious, that even though I didn't love the last film in the franchise, and Insidious 3 is not bad, it really shows that James Wan can just take a simple premise and expound it to becoming something a lot further. Get it? But Insidious is a really great film. That reveal at the end with Patrick Wilson and him being kind of the Black Bride, that is awesome. Like, that is really, really cool. And I can't wait for Insidious Chapter 5, which is actually going to be directed by Patrick Wilson. Hopefully it's good. My number 2 is going to be The Conjuring. This movie still scares me, man. This is how you do horror. This is exactly what you want to do. The practical effects in this movie are incredible. You have, just the simple idea of legs hanging from a tree. You can see the actual legs. And I mean, that's creepy. He's able to set up subtlety within this film that makes the movie even more scary, makes it even more effective. And not only that, but then you get the side story of the family and also the Warrens, and it sets up all these different ideas before the two even meet together. And that's really what I love about this film, is that it takes so much time in establishing the characters that it's not just a horror film, it's also a character study. I mean, you're really understanding what these characters are going through, and it gives more drama to the end where there's so much at stake for not only the family, but for the Warrens. And The Conjuring is how you do horror right. This movie still creeps me out. There's some incredible jump scares in this film, and this is when I really understood that James Wan is a master of horror. But my number 1, it's no surprise, guys. You knew it was coming. It's Malignant. Malignant is my favorite movie of this year. I love this film. It is my favorite James Wan movie. Malignant is everything that I never knew that I needed. This film has it all. There are really good atmospheric moments that include such great tension. I mean, there is really suspenseful scenes in this film. There's great jump scares. There is great practical effects. There's also really good CGI effects that I think actually look good. The reveal at the end is still the craziest twist I've ever seen in a movie. And the fact that James Wan takes this campy, silly idea and really just expounds upon it and just has fun with it and throws everything at the wall, to me, that is how you become a filmmaker. That is how you become a master at your craft, when you know and you understand exactly what you're doing. That is what James Wan does with Malignant. This movie is bonkers. It is one of the craziest movies I've ever seen. I absolutely love it. And I love that this movie feels like it's from the 80s. I really do. It's a cheesy, campy, slasher horror film that has so much goodness and so much of what I love about horror, that this movie just speaks to me, man. This is the movie I've been waiting for all year. I mean, this is the movie that I've been waiting for, and I'm so happy that Malignant is here. I love this movie. I implore all of you to go see it, and that's going to be my ranking of all 7 James Wan films. Obviously, Malignant is my favorite. You guys already knew that was coming. Let me know your guys' list down below in the comment section of this video, and thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.